Welcome back to the Artie Quitter, Artie Lang Uncensored. It's Monday. We're back. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. My mom was in the hospital. She had an operation, very successful operation, so we couldn't do Wednesday and Thursday last week. So the operation was a success. We're starting a little late today. There's some complications. I'm running back and forth here, but she's doing good. So everybody who wish me well, very, very nice. I appreciate it. I really do. Chris Cotton's here. He's the only guy who can make it today. Chris, what's up?
What's up, man?
How you doing? And Danny Filato's here, and this is great. This is great. For any of you, for people in our small, unsuccessful podcast world, you know that Dan and I a couple of weeks ago made a bet. Dan thought that these two guys who broke out of prison would get away, and I had to inform him that wouldn't happen. And we made a bet.
Big deal.
We made a bet. I wanted to make a $10,000 bet like men do, but then it got down to $200.
Oh, that's a good classy bet. I like
so Dan made it $200. So it's just a matter of the principle thing. We're going to play some of the clip, and it's so great because Dan's going to sound so stupid.
They were out for 30 days.
No,
what are you talking
23
about?
days. They got about 8 miles.
What? Yeah, whatever. And they would have gone down to Mexico.
Here comes the exaggeration. It was 23 days, not 30.
Yeah,
whatever.
There's a difference.
If we're talking, there's a big difference when you're running. Every second seems like an hour.
That's a month of rent.
Okay. Not for them.
What's the
Government's paying their rent from now on.
What's the first thing you do once you escape from jail?
Get laid, probably.
Yeah, I think
They were getting laid in
For
prison.
me, I'd have a pizza. You see that chick? That's not getting laid. That's a punishment. I'd rather fuck my fucking toilet.
Yeah, dude. I think you gotta get some puss first.
That guy. If we were a more successful podcast, we'd have a clip of her husband speaking. But that chick who they used to get out of prison, her husband is so wonderfully stupid. Look, we've all been played by women. Everybody plays the fool. The Neville brothers said it. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. We've all been played by whores. Fucking whores. They've all played us. But this woman has got this guy. This guy, he seems like a very nice man, but his IQ, if it's 60, that's a big. That's under over 60 on the IQ. He's got that bad white trash teeth, that mustache, and bad acne scars.
I like how you just pointing out regular face stuff. He got a mustache.
No, but like a
face.
bad one. He's got like that bad one. It's not trimmed properly. What do you think his wife's pussy looks like? If it looks like that mustache. And it's got acne scars. Not him, the pussy. Imagine a pussy with acne scars. Oh, my God. So this guy is getting interviewed going like, my lovely wife said, he's got that little lisp. She said, they tried to kiss me. And I said, absolutely not. I love my husband. I love my husband. No way am I kissing you. No way am I kissing you. I'm married. And I love my husband. And Matt Lauer's looking at him like he's retarded. Is that what she said to you? Yes, Matt. She said, one of these evil men said, I want to kiss you. And she said, how dare you? How dare you? I'm married to a very handsome man. I'm married to a man with bad teeth and acne scars. He makes $18,000 a year. We live in a mud hut. And I'm not kissing you because I love my husband. Is that what she said? Yes, Mr. Lauer. That's what she said to these evil men. Well, because they claim they made love to her. How? No! That's not true. Well, she claims that they made love to her. No, she's lying. Well, who's she lying to? You or us? You, us! Stop confusing me with your Jew media stuff. My father warned me about the Jew media.
I never leave nowhere without Lyle. Never.
This is him.
And he said, well, I'll give you some pills they give him to knock him out, and then you come pick us up. She said, I can't do this. And then she told me he started threatening her with somebody inside the facilities to do something to me, to harm me or kill me, or somebody outside the jail if she didn't stay with this.
How'd she pick them up?
Okay, facilities. If you talk like that, would you ever say the word facilities?
I try to avoid the word.
You shouldn't. And you're a smart
They were
person.
going to kill her, they were, and all they wanted was that vehicle.
And Lyle...
All they wanted that vehicle. They threatened to give me pills. He said, I'll give you pills. No, I love my husband. I would never harm my husband. And I would never make love to you. Because I have a husband. People say your wife looks like John Kruk. Well, listen. I don't care. We all have our type.
Crook is a horrible man.
We all have our type. Some men, we've all met the guys. Some men like young Heather Locklear. Some men like Naomi Campbell types. I like John Kruk.
I like a nice crook-looking bitch.
Some people like a chubby left-hander for the 93 Phillies. Listen, this guy just sounds... God love him, because we've all been there. We've all played the stupid fool for some whore. She's lying. That's what they do. They lie. And he's on national... Matt Lauer just baiting him. I've heard about the Jew media. That's what they've told me. And don't get me, the Jewish media, that's what you're doing, Matt. Are you Jewish? I was warned, the Confederate flag flies high in my backyard. They said, well, we're going to give, she said, well, my husband's a very sound sleeper and he works. What about when he wakes up? And they said, we're going to give you pills to give him. And she said, no, because he's my husband and I love him. I'm not harming my husband.
You know he wears a mouth guard. You can just tell from those teeth.
No, well, he should wear a mouth guard. There's no way I'm taking out his mouth guard to give him pills. Because he has a teeth problem. And she said that. And then she said, well, they said to me, I'll get somebody outside the facilities.
The what?
The facilities.
The facility?
Yes, Mr. Lauer. Stop with your Jew logic.
The for who?
The facilities, Mr. Lauer. You know what I'm talking about.
My mic's going. I can't hear.
I'm in a haze from your Jewishness.
The facilities.
I'm in a Jew media haze. The facilities. She said, we'll get somebody outside the facilities. She said, no, you're not harming my husband outside the facilities. And she said, what do you mean by facilities? Is that a Greek god or something? No, outside the prison. Oh, the facilities of the prison? The prison facilities? And they said no. And then she said the one man tried to kiss her.
Tried to kiss her.
She tried to kiss her. The one man tried to kiss her. And I said, my wife kept her honor. She said no. I have a husband. I love my husband more than anything in the world. I'm going to show you a picture of my husband. You're going to see why I love him. Who couldn't love that puss? Supper and Thuckatay.
Tried to kiss her
in the
facilities.
I tried to kiss her outside the facilities.
When I Googled his name, Matt Lauer with husband of, the very first one that shows up is Paula Dean.
Oh, Jesus. Of course. I'm no Paula Dean's husband. You can't fool me, Matt Lauer. He just sounds so naive and so pussy whipped.
And he
a lot of my friends say I'm pussy whipped.
He looks like every Mets fan that I've seen it.
You know what he is? He's a pair of orange socks away from being a Met fan. He's a shitty apartment in Queens and a pair of orange socks away from being a Met fan.
Hey, Flippin's not here. Let's stop disrespect. I got your back.
Flippin. We have season tickets to the Mets, Citi Field, the facility that's. First of all, have you been to the facilities at Citi Field?
The who?
Mr. Lauer, stop being condescending.
Listen, I'm just here to ask the question.
You're the media. You're the condescending Jew media that Rupert Murdoch talks about in his books. Listen. So she said, no, I'm not kissing you. But in every account says that they made love. What? What kind of maniac are you? They didn't make love. Both men said they said they actually did it together. All three. They had a threesome. A threesome?
A threesome?
A threesome? A threesome outside the facilities? They tried to kiss him during a threesome outside the facilities. She tried to kiss him in a threesome.
The worst trio of words I've ever heard in my life.
For a guy with a major stuttering problem. She tried to kiss him during the threesome in the prison. She tried to outside the facility. They had a threesome in the prison and the kiss him.
It sounds like Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. She tried to pill a Bill Cosby on her. Give him pills. She Bill Cosby'd them. I mean, they Bill Cosby her. You got me all confused. In this scenario, who's Bill Cosby? My wife would never do something. She said, I love my husband. I would never harm him with pills. Really, because she said her life was a living hell. And the thought of being on the lam with 2 fugitives was actually better than living with you. That's bullshit. She said living in a cabin on the run on a hot winter day with no electricity would be a better life than living with you. That's ridiculous.
That's hypothesis.
You know the night. What kind of hypothesis is that? That's not an educated guess. Outside the facilities, I have running water. I work hard to give my wife running water in these facilities. And electricity. We have electricity in these facilities. She said her life with you is she'd rather hang herself with some barbed wire. That's ridiculous. You got to see the games of Scrabble we play. We play games of Scrabble with each other. Well, we just think we love you. We just think you sound naive. Bullshit. She's my loving wife. Well, now was it odd when she asked you when you grilled some meat to put a drill in the meat? Listen, whose wife hasn't asked for that? Can one man out there say a wife has not asked her to put a Makita drill?
Our whole staff is raising their hands.
Everyone has said this. Every time, at least once or twice a month during an average marriage, a woman asks you to bake a drill into a piece of meat. Kobe beef with a drill.
That's funny.
When he confronted her, he said that she admitted having a little affection for them, but it never went any farther than that.
Right, just a little affection. She had a little affection. And that was the time when I had an infection, and we couldn't make love.
But you snuck a goddamn drill in some meat. You don't have a little affection for somebody.
She did admit that. She had a little affection. My wife does like the underdog.
My wife loves me, and I'm pretty sure she wouldn't sneak
And he said
meat in the grill.
they never fight.
They never fight?
We never fight.
That's even creepier.
You have to talk to fight.
That's even fucking creepier to never fight anybody. Me and my wife said that if people never fight, we think somebody's getting hit.
No, I know. I know couples who claim that too. Like,
we never
they
fight.
got to have the perfect marriage. We never fight. Bullshit.
You should fight.
Yeah, you should. You got to get it out.
Fighting is very healthy.
Listen, we never fight. And the way she, I guess, took out her anger, she kept it in until she fucked 3 fugitives. Instead of fighting, she fucked 2 fugitives and got them drills. Is there any way you could put an extension cord in the hot dogs? Now that was an odd request. The drill inside the hamburger meat was that's. I mean, who hasn't asked for that? That's a normal marriage. But when my eyebrows were raised, was the construction was the extension cord in the hot dog meat.
My eyebrows. That's when I started getting a little suspicious.
My eyebrows were raised.
The music dropped.
My eyebrow was raised. We're not the best groomed people in the world, Mr. Lauer. We don't have houses in the Hamptons like you and the rest of the Jew media. We have a Confederate flag. Of course I love her. I'll love her forever. What kind of a question is that? That's another Jew media question. I'm voting for Donald Trump.
How do you feel about the Mexicans?
He's going to build a wall around Mexico.
Are they all rapists?
Not all of them. Just the one who fucked my wife in prison. Neither men are Mexican. Well, she told me about a Mexican. You better get on that. I think there's more than one. There's more than one gang she's helping. Wait a minute. Now my eyes are open. Maybe she is lying to me.
I think you're on to her finally.
Yeah, I think I'm on to her. Thank you, Matt Lauer, for opening my eyes.
Let me see that hot dog. Oh, she did
Yeah. The facilities. She tried to kiss him in the prison. Facilities. Anyway, so that's the guy, this poor guy. Play a little bit more of him. Do we have any more of him?
Let me get it.
We'll try to play more of him. I love this guy. We've all been there. I'm not making fun of you, because I've been there too.
What about when she asked you to put a beeper in the jelly donut?
Yeah. Listen, she asked me to pull a bullet in 12 Dunkin' Munchkins. She said, put 1 bullet in each Dunkin' Munchkin. And I said, that's odd. That is odd. I'm no stupid idiot. What do you think you're dealing with, some dummy? I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday, bitch. You want me to bake a bullet into a Dunkin' Munchkin?
Dunkin' Munchkin.
And then before you know it, they're out, and my wife's in handcuffs. That's ridiculous. Just the guy sitting next to him, I guess, is his lawyer too. Everything coming out of the guy's mouth, his lawyer can't even believe. Like these lawyers are trained to like listen to the most insane bullshit and pretend their client's telling the truth. This guy's look on his face, the lawyer's like, "What is coming out of your mouth?" Matt Lauer just looks at him so sad. I mean, Lauer could have at least faked it a little better.
No, fuck that.
He was like, "God, you're sad.
Let him hang himself with his words.
God, you're sad." That's what he's doing. Do you have any more of him?
I have to go past the commercial.
Put it on an album. The only show with these kind of technical issues. Listen, this is. I know I'm going to sound like a stupid idiot.
A stupid idiot?
I'm going to look like the stupid one here. Sir, could you say some words that don't have S in it? What's that mean? That sounds ridiculous. Here we have him.
With his lawyer,
we talked
sat
to Lyle
down with the
Mitchell
Today Show's Matt
exclusively,
Lauer,
along with his
to open up
attorney,
for the
Peter
first
Dumas.
We're
time.
playing two shows now.
I can't imagine a more tension-filled and tumultuous
Tumultuous?
17 or 18-day period. How are you, Lyle?
Just taking it day by day. It's rough.
Can you describe how this has turned your life?
Can you say
upside
tumultuous?
down?
Just one day everyone's 100%. Everybody happy. The next day, that's what happened. It just in shock.
It's like someone pulls the rug out from
Yes, yes.
Lyle Mitchell spoke for the first time since his wife Joyce
You sure
Mitchell
everyone was
charged
happy
with
before
providing
this?
tools to help the two convicted
Everyone was
killers, Richard
unbelievably
Matt and
happy
David
the day
Sweat,
before.
break out of maximum security
had a perfect life the
correctional
day before.
facility 18 days ago.
Bitches.
Tell me where you were and where you first heard that there had been this escape at the Clinton Correctional Facility, where you work, by the way.
Yeah. I was at the hospital. My wife that night before said she was having.
Don't they have a dental
chest
plan
pain.
there?
Next morning, I come back in, and we get ready to leave, and we turn the cell phone on, and all of a sudden we had all kind of beep, 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 all from our kids, our family, state troopers are looking for us.
Beep, beep, beep means
So my
they want
wife
you.
when she turned the cell phone on, she said, "Oh my God, she had Matt and Sweat escaped."
What?
I said, "Well, must be why troopers want this."
Authorities say
Escaped.
Joyce Mitchell planned to run off with the
Escaped.
inmates after picking them up, but she never showed up, having suffered an anxiety attack. She was hospitalized.
Your getaway
that night.
driver had an anxiety attack?
You
I ain't gonna
and
make
your
it.
wife heard
But
that
yes, yes,
Richard Matt and David Sweat had escaped from Clinton. What was her reaction and what was your reaction?
I just couldn't believe it. Her reaction when she said they escaped, they really escaped, and that's why I left it at that. And
You've known her for 21 years. You looked in her eyes. Nothing seemed unusual
Nothing.
about her expression or her
And when
demeanor?
I said they want to talk to us, because we know them, we're to help out. So we went right to the police barracks.
did you just say, sir?
You guys been looking for us?
No, I
Said, who are you?
didn't
Said
say
Lyle
it.
and Joyce Mitchell. Yes, we have.
And so at that point, Lyle, you had no reason to ask your wife, do you know anything about
No.
this escape?
No. And then the next morning, she said the state police called. I said, for what? They want to know something about a package. For what? A package. So what are you talking about? She said, we'll go back out. I need to talk to the troopers. Investigator came out and said, Mr. Mitchell, your wife has more involved than what she's letting on. What? And that's when he said that she bought apparently 2 hacksaw blades, a Phillips bit, and
Hacksaw
a
blades.
chisel. Oh my God.
When did you finally ask her point blank, face to face?
That night on the way home.
You say, did you help these 2 prisoners escape?
I said, well, how can it happen? She said, I got over my head and I was scared. And she said, I got something else to tell you. I said, what's that?
Can you take a V-Pack?
She said, their plan was they want to kill you. I said, what? They wanted her to come pick them up.
So she admitted to you at that moment that once these 2 escaped from Clinton and made their way to that manhole, that she was supposed to be the one to pick them up and drive them away.
She told me that Matt wanted her to pick them up. And she said, well, I never leave nowhere without Lyle.
I never leave nowhere.
And he said, well, I'll give you some pills to give him to knock him out, and then you can pick us up. She said, I am not doing that. She said, I love my husband. I am not hurting him. And she said, then I knew I was over my head. She said, I can't do this. And then she told me he started threatening her with somebody inside the facilities was going to do something to me, to harm me or kill me, or somebody outside the jail if she didn't stay with this.
According to your wife, they were going to kill you for what reason?
Did this get me out of the way? But she said she would never go through with it. That's what she told me.
Then they
That she
rethought
really
it and
loved
said,
me,
he's
she
not a
thought she was
threat in
into
any
me.
way.
It sounds like
Lyle's
Dustin
wife
Rhodes.
Joyce is
A
still
raccoon
behind bars facing
is a
those
bigger
charges.
threat.
He said,
He's a fucking idiot.
Oh my God, the poor guy. The poor fucking guy.
Every 5 words, he had like a separate conversation
Yeah.
inside of his conversation.
I don't go nowhere without Lyle. That's when I said I don't go nowhere without Lyle.
That's how I feel. I was over my head.
You disgusting bitch. You disgusting convict fucking whore. That's what you should have said, Lyle. We're all with you, Lyle. We're all on your side, Lyle. That cunt!
They should start a Kickstarter for that.
Kickstarter.
He needs a Kickstarter.
Listen, we need a Kickstarter. I'm writing an independent film about the whole entire. I'm doing a book.
Gonna cost up. Who's gonna be named?
All I know is
The
in the-
bitch I married fucks the convict. That's the tentative title.
The name is a little bit convoluted.
That's the working title.
in the movie, Mike Boschetti better have a chance to audition.
Oh, I hope.
Oh, dude.
Boschetti and Stacey Pressman plays the girl. Stacey's way too hot to play her, but Mike's in love with her, so he wouldn't have to act. That's when I sang Wise Men Say to my lovely wife, Joyce. Wise men say only fools are thin. Then they gave me pills. That was weird. When my wife mixed pills into our soup.
But I ate it because I trust her.
we had a Nikita drill and some meatloaf. And I said, this is odd. That's when I said, she said, I don't go nowhere. I don't go nowhere without
Lyle.
Maybe
without
some-
Lyle.
Maybe some of the drill bits chipped his teeth.
That's when Pete, you're wondering about my teeth. I can see that, Matt. Drill bits are very hard on the teeth. My dentist said you have to stop it. Your wife has to stop putting drill bits in your steak. I said, why do I have to keep coming back here to get my teeth fixed? Well, because your wife is putting drill bits and bullets in your food. Damn it. That's when I knew I was over my head. When the dentist confirmed that my wife had put bullets in the Dunkin' Munchkins that I take every day for work in the little Dunkin' Munchkins mailbox, the lunchbox. The little cardboard Dunkin' Munchkins box that I love so much. I work inside the facility.
So what was the bet? I wasn't here for the bet. What was the bet?
The bet was Dan's. It was pretty basic. About two weeks ago, maybe a little more. Dan said they won't be caught. Dan claimed he was a criminal mastermind.
No, I did
I've never
not.
seen Dan do over the speed limit. If Dan does over the speed limit, he gets all nervous.
How many?
Like, if
I
he
go
does
5
40
over every time.
If he does 46 to 45, he's nervous.
Are you serious?
I
So
said-
he claims if he got out of prison, he could disappear, and it's easy to disappear. I said, Dan, I don't know what the fuck you're talking
Okay,
about.
I wasn't here.
And I said, we're going to play
I
the
want to
tape.
hear Dan's layout. Dan, you escape. What's Dan's move? You got 24 hours. 24 hours. What's your first move?
Yeah, that's what he has no move.
I'd have a plan. I'd have some type of plan.
Well, give us the plan. Chris,
My plan-
Well, Chris, you're having the same guy. When we play the tape, you'll say.
My plan would have her waiting for me. At
Oh, is that the plan?
This bitch has already failed. You already
Okay, try plan
I would
2.
go to Mexico. I would go to Mexico.
Well, no, they were going to Canada, different country. That's your
no,
move?
not, they were going to Mexico, but then with her not driving now, they changed their mind and went to Canada.
Why? What, they need her to go to Mexico?
He said that they needed her to drive.
Listen, we were going to Mexico,
They need a driver.
but she had an anxiety attack. She's a regular Frank Nitty.
But how would you, like, I'm sure there are cabins up in that area that they keep cars there.
Oh, stop it.
So you steal
They,
one of the car.
they were all disorganized. They were trying to that's what happens. If you're not organized crime and you don't have resources, like the mafia they have doctors who are crooked. They have people who get planes. That's what you need. Without those resources, you're
need
done.
connections.
You'll run out of resources. You'll have to steal a gun, break into a cabin, or do something stupid. The cops won't find you. You'll find them.
Yeah.
You will find the cops.
Because you're doing auxiliary crimes.
Right.
You can't
That's
do
what
auxiliary
happened. Exactly. Auxiliary crimes. That's what happened to these two motherfuckers. The guy ran out of resources, so he panicked, tried to carjack a car. The guy who responded to the carjacking hit the lottery. It happened to be the guy.
To be honest with you, what you got to do, you escape from jail, you want to go to and this sounds bad, you want to go to a shitty neighborhood as fast as possible and make shady deals.
Well, listen. Well, that's what you have to go to shady people.
Yeah, you have to go to shady people and do shady shit.
Unless you have some sort of listen. They're already on the top of a criminal's fucking wonderful list for getting out of the prison.
Yeah.
They're already legends. The one guy's dead, but this guy was probably hoping he'd die instead of go back to the joint. He's gonna die in a cell the size of this table. Can you imagine? He's never getting out. Because here's the thing. Like, you know, when you watch, like, every fucking movie made about escaped convicts romanticizes it. Like, the guys who escaped from Alcatraz, with the Clint Eastwood movie, I Escaped from Devil's Island with Jim Brown, like, the Papillon movie. Shawshank. It's all, like, romantic, where these guys are nice guys who the government's fucking over, and you're rooting for them. That's usually not the case. These two guys one guy chopped someone up. Another guy, I think, killed his wife and chopped her up and ate her or something. Like, these are not...
Who hasn't done that, right?
These aren't... It's not Ben Affleck and Denzel Washington breaking out of prison. All right? It's two scumbags who you want to get caught. You want to have them caught. And they're fucking with retarded people. This guy and her husband, this guy and his wife were prey to them. Yeah. They were easy prey. This guy's retarded. And his wife clearly was retarded. And Dan is sitting there. I can't wait to play the tape. We're not playing it now because we have this is big for me. I love Rick Cerrone, former catcher for the Yankees, played in the 81 series. I want to ask him about this. He had the unenviable task of taking over for the great Thurman Munson on the Yankees after Munson died. And he won the city over because he was a great guy and a great player. And he started on the Yankees when I was about 13. So I loved Rick Cerrone. My family loved him, an Italian kid from Newark. Went to Seton Hall and was catcher for the Yanks for a few years and played, he batted .280 a couple of seasons. Had a great World Series in 1981. And Danny and I saw him at this was before Chris got there. We met him at the Trump golf tournament we went to.
Oh,
when Chris was at the other tournament.
Chris was at the other Trump.
The other Trump.
Chris was at the other Trump.
Being stared at very uncomfortable.
By Mexicans who worked for Trump.
You look at the application?
I love how Trump goes, I hire a lot of Latinos. He goes for that card. Yeah.
Let's call him. We can call him now.
We have to call him now. So we're going to call Rick. We'll do an interview with Rick, and then listen. We're going to get back to the story. We're gonna play the tape of Danny.
I can lay low for a year. Nobody would find me for a year or two.
Yeah. When you need food, you need water. This guy.
I mean, I'd have to get a job somewhere. But
that's easy.
But I think
Dan, you wouldn't be able to get clothes.
You're crazy.
You'd be caught before you got a windbreaker.
You're crazy. I think I'd be able to get
I want to talk about this.
Fake ID.
How retarded does he sound?
A fake driver's license, be able to go another country.
Not that easy. It's not.
How do you get that? How do you get the fake driver's license?
I used to get them when we were kids. We knew
you weren't wanted by every cop in North America.
Right. Well, let's say I wasn't out for murder, but I think that Dan,
anything you're out for, they're going to be looking for you because you're making law enforcement look stupid on CNN every night.
And the work under the table, you have to have the physique of a guy who can work under the table.
Dan doesn't know what he's
doing. You don't have
lost the bet. You lost the bet, Con.
I didn't say I wasn't going to pay. I just said
they
were out for over 3 weeks.
So,
if they didn't steal a car,
they got caught. One's dead. One's in critical condition.
I was 2 weeks away from $200.
No, you weren't. It was June 30th, I thought, right? What was it? You were a day away.
That's right.
That's funny.
Listen, Dan was a day away. We were all rooting for him. Dan's the only guy rooting for these guys to get away.
Come
on! You piece
all right, let's go.
And thanks for like Ben from Clifton. Like I didn't know after you saw 50 fucking tweets.
All right, calm down.
Right, I love Ben.
Let's call Rick.
Hey Dan, you already 200. Yeah, shut up.
Let's call Rick. Let's call Rick. Hey, we're back with the Artie Quitter, Artie Lang Uncensored podcast. This is a real special guest for me, man. This guy was one of my heroes as a kid. In 1981, he had a great World Series with the Yankees. He's a local guy. My whole family's from Newark. Rick went to Seton Hall. I wasn't good enough or smart enough to get in Seton Hall, but I went to Mike Shepard's Hustlers baseball camp. So there's a lot to talk about. Former Yankee and Newark Bears co-owner and a great, great man in my heart. And let's just introduce him and we'll talk to him. Rick Cerrone. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, Artie? You went to Shep's baseball camp as a kid?
I did. Mike Shepard's Hustlers baseball camp. When I was, I actually won Best All-Around Player, 1978. I was 11.
Wow.
So
nice.
Now, did you grow up in Newark, Rick?
Yeah, I grew up right on Clifton Avenue and Bloomfield Avenue.
You grew up North Newark.
Yeah, North Newark. My grammar school was the Cathedral.
Oh,
That was
okay.
my grammar school.
So North,
And then I
so
went to,
right by
Essex
like
Catholic.
Casa de Pizza and the Belmont Tavern and all that stuff. And,
Oh yeah. It's great. I go back maybe once a month.
right. Well, my mother grew up on North 7th Street, and I lived in Newark for a while as a kid. I grew up in Union, New Jersey, but you were a big hero with my whole family, Italian American family, and you made it to the Yanks, man. So
Yeah, I know. It was a lot of fun. And it's funny when you mentioned Shepard. I mean, a lot of things changed because of Mike Shepard.
well, Mike
And,
Shepard, first of all, just as I'm trying to be a good host here, I'll tell my podcast listeners, Seton Hall University, known for basketball, probably has a more legendary baseball program. And in the 70s and early 80s, and I'm sure part of the 60s, their coach was kind of like the Bobby Knight as far as respect is concerned. Maybe Dean Smith is a better analogy of college baseball as coaches. He was in North Jersey and competed with the big guys in Miami, and he was the head coach of Seton Hall baseball for a long time. A lot of people under his tutelage went pro, and Rick was one of them. So that's what you're talking about when you say Mike Shepard. He had a baseball camp run at Seton Hall in the summer, and my old man sprung for the $85, I think, a couple of summers. And I went, I had a good time. So that's what Rick's talking about. Go ahead, Mike Shepard.
Yeah. Actually, my first year at Seton Hall was Mike Shepard's first year as head coach.
Oh, okay.
He was an assistant there.
Okay.
But what happened was I had at a Essex Catholic High School, which was, you mentioned Union. Union was number 1 in the state in football that year.
Right.
Essex Catholic was number 2. We went undefeated as well.
Both of my uncles who grew up in North Newark went to Essex Catholic. They were Caprios.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Caprios.
A lot of them.
And then
A lot of them.
I was the quarterback of that team, and I had 60 football scholarships and none for baseball.
Wow.
And and for some reason, at the last minute, Mike Shepard convinced me to play baseball, stay home, and I didn't have to worry about those big monster linemen and guys chasing me all over the place as a quarterback. So
Right.
I wound up staying home, and I made the right decision.
You did.
It turned out good.
You did. I actually won a contest. I was a pretty good ball player. I actually was an all-county third baseman for Union High. And then, like I said, I didn't go to college. I had a lot of problems in my life that I won't get into. But I played a little semi-pro ball. But I won a contest and got a scholarship to go to Bobby Mercer's baseball camp outside of Miami in 1981. And I was 13. And you were one of the instructors. And Rick, you recorded a song. Do you remember you recorded a song?
Yeah, because of the Italian earthquake victims.
That's
in
right.
1980.
That's right.
We raised a lot of money.
You did.
Roseanne, remember Roseanne Scarmadella?
Sure.
Rosanna Dana?
Yes, absolutely.
We raised a lot of money. The earthquake hit right in Italy, destroyed a town of Castel Grande, where my family was from.
Wow.
So Roseanne and one of the ways that we raised the money, I made a song, A Long Run Home.
A Long Run Home. I remember, because you played with...
I can't get over that. You, Artie Lang, has been all over the place.
Listen, it's New Year's Eve, 1980. I was down there. With the camp was from 80 to 81. You spoke to us. You could not have been fucking cooler. You got to realize how cool Rick was. As a matter of fact, at that age, we were trying to figure out who got more pussy, you or Lee Mazzilli.
I could attest that we both did pretty good.
I remember you were getting interviewed on a show at the height of your fame there, and you had a great answer. They asked you who's the real Italian stallion, you or Mazzilli, and you said Phil Rizzuto.
Exactly. Scooter was the one that started all of that. But you think back. Our lives have crossed a lot. Bobby Mercer, I miss him.
Yeah.
They just did the Yankeeography. I watched it again
right
on TV. Great guy. Great. You know what? The older guys back then took me under their wing.
Right. They loved you. Yeah. You could not have been cooler, man. I could attest as a kid. You were great. Yeah.
Well, they needed me, actually.
Right.
When Thurman died, they traded for me from Toronto, and Dick Hauser was a tremendous coach because he. I remember my birthday, May 19th, 1980. I'm hitting under 200, but I'm second on the team in RBIs, and you worry about that. I'm hitting 199. But
Wow.
I played every day.
Right.
And Dick Hauser was more, he said, Rick, you're throwing out everybody. We're in first place. You're driving in big runs. Just relax. You're going to hit. Your average is going to come up. I never forgot it because I wound up hitting like 320 the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I found out, close to 280 for the season. Had a nice year, finished sixth in the MVP. But those older guys on that team, Lou Piniella, even Reggie. Reggie I just saw the other day, and I kind of said, listen, we need you. We need you to play every day. And that's what made it easier. Plus, I was playing home.
Right.
That was like a dream come true. Unfortunately, the next couple of years, I wound up getting hurt and never duplicated that season, but had a lot of fun playing.
But
playing.
You know what? You mentioned something I want to get into. You had to be both good and a great person and a likable person to take over for Thurman Munson. You had the most unenviable position on the planet. He was the captain. He was my hero, the most popular guy. Dies in a plane crash. Clutch hitter. They had just won 2 World Series with him, and you're the first major guy to be the catcher, and the first real starter. What was that like pressure-wise for you coming in?
Well, anytime you're playing in the big leagues, it's tough. But I always looked at it this way, and then you know what? Because they made so much of it. See, if the guys that were there from August 79, August and September, and I want to say, I think it was Jerry Narron, Brad Gilden,
right,
a couple other guys. If they would have done their job and would have been successful those last 2 months, they wouldn't have needed to trade for me.
Right.
So I looked at it. I'm replacing those bums.
Right.
And I tried to take the pressure. You know what I mean? I tried to move the pressure and say, listen, you know what? I'm replacing those guys. You can't replace Thurman. And you know what? Being home was so much fun. Everybody says what a pain in the butt it is with tickets and this and that. I enjoyed it.
Sure.
You get to see your family every day.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And we win 103 games.
Yeah, and you could tell you liked it. That's why people liked you. You could tell you were having fun. And again, you hit 280 that year. And you talk about Dick Hauser. Dick Hauser was the most underrated manager of all time. He won 100 games.
He treated everybody good.
Right.
He made everybody feel a part. He deferred all the garbage that a lot of the guys had to deal with Steinbrenner. He deferred all of that onto himself.
Right.
I tell you what, he made it very enjoyable. Unfortunately, we lose to Kansas City, and he gets fired because he sticks up for the third base coach.
Should Ferrara have sent Willie Randolph? No way, right?
You know what? If you watch that play, they missed the cutoff. They wind up missing the cutoff, and it turns out to be a perfect relay.
Yeah, it had to be a perfect throw. But you know what? The networks know what they do, and they cut right to Steinbrenner, and Steinbrenner was pissed. Yeah.
There he was, waving his hands and screaming. And
he was mad.
And he was mad. And you know what? He had all the right to be mad because we were supposed to win that series.
But Danny, my producer, he'll attest to this. Being in this business, you meet a lot of people and you meet a lot of celebrities. We were together a few weeks ago at the Trump charity golf tournament in Bedminster, or wherever it was, and you were nice. You were nice enough to come up and shake my hand. And listen, you still got a full head of hair, but it's white now. And I didn't recognize you at first. And you said Artie Rick Cerrone, and you shook my hand. And Danny, what did I do the rest of the afternoon? I was like, we have to
find him. We spent the entire afternoon. We blew off we were supposed to record the podcast. We just drove around in that golf cart looking for you.
I said, has anyone seen Rick fucking Cerrone? I got to talk to him.
You guys are being nice too. The hair is still there.
Yeah, right? It is.
But there's a nice little ponzone I got now.
Hey, believe me, I got a few ponzones. So but you know what? It's distinguished. You got the white hair. You look cool, man. It's
there fine. You go. You know what, Artie? I like you. You're a fan. we know so many of the same people. It is a small world.
Yeah.
It keeps getting smaller.
But listen, I again, from the day after Christmas 1980 till about January 3rd, 81, I was at that Bobby Mercer camp, and I was with a lot of rich kids, and I wasn't a wealthy kid because I had won a contest, and but I'm down outside of Miami, and you spoke to us. Pinella was down there, and I'm calling my father every night from the payphone in the lobby at a Holiday Inn where we're staying. I'm going, I met Rick Cerrone. That's all my family wanted to talk about.
You know who was there at that camp too, and he's become a very good friend of mine. He's the coach of the LSU team, the baseball team, Paul Maneri.
Oh, okay.
His father was the legendary coach at Miami-Dade South,
right?
Jimmy Maneri.
Right.
And Paul's had an unbelievable career in college. He's LSU's head coach.
Wow, that's major.
He's actually working right now. The USA All-Star team is playing against Cuba today. I just talked to my buddy Blankmeyer, who's the coach of St. John's.
Eddie Blankmeyer.
Yeah.
Eddie Blankmeyer was he was at the Shepherd baseball camp all the time. I remember him going, it's going to be a real scorcher. Today's a real scorcher, guys.
And now one of the things you don't know, that Blanky had a scholarship just like I did at Seton Hall, but he had to marry the daughter. He wanted to marry.
Oh, did he? He married one of the Shepherd kids.
He married Kathy Shepherd, but they're in North Carolina right now, the USA team. I wish them luck. They beat Taiwan 6-4.
Wow.
And now they're playing a series against Cuba. So I'm pulling for Blake. He's a good guy.
Well, now after the Supreme Court ruling, he could marry Robbie Shepherd if he wants. Not that neither one of them swing that way, but
I got one question for you.
Go ahead, Rick.
I've been talking to a lot of people about this. I love Pete Rose.
Sure, me too.
Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Hey, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. He actually admitted. I don't like what came out recently that he bet on baseball.
What are you going to do?
What's your take on these guys betting every single day on fantasy baseball?
Well, yeah,
fantasy football.
You're right, Rick. It's basically legal gambling, and it's just as addictive, just as degenerate. People waste time. It takes away from their families. It's all bullshit. It's like politics. It's all bullshit.
Marty, I'm involved actually in the Fantasy Sports Network.
Right.
That's a new thing that came on Cablevision.
It should be legal. It's what people do. I mean, what the hell?
But I read this winter, a football player comes out and says, "Boy, I really screwed up this week. If I would have kept myself on my team in fantasy league, I would have won $20,000."
That's hilarious.
What? Yeah, but now, isn't that wrong?
That's basically what Pete Rose was doing. It's the same exact thing Pete Rose was doing. I mean, if they could prove he ever threw a game, that would break my heart. But do you think Pete Rose has it in him, the winner he is, to ever throw a game? I don't think so.
No.
Right.
No. But we know we both grew up with a bunch of guys from the neighborhood. when you owe $400,000 or $500,000, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah, you might let a grounder go through your legs if you owe $400 large.
Oopsie.
To little Pussy Russo.
Growing up with my buddies in Newark on the street, they used to say, "Just give us one game."
That's hilarious.
Guys,
that's hilarious.
There's no way in the world.
Rick, that is so funny. That is so funny. Trying to explain to Ron Guidry from Louisiana, listen, I'm throwing the game.
Yeah, put it right down the middle. And what happens if our team scores 15 runs? Now all of a sudden you got to run away from the guys.
Ron, you got to say, Ron, listen, you like your kneecaps? But, so, again, so I have a personal past with you as a kid, and I got to say, you could not have been cooler to us as kids.
Wow.
You were really a nice guy, and I came back with even more respect for you because, after Thurman died and you replaced him, a lot of people wanted to not like you, but you were good and you were clutch and you were such a good guy, the town fell in love with you. And, so let's go to 1981. The strike season happens. You and actually Willie Randolph, the both of you, have great World Series. You come up short, but in 81...
Yeah, but you know what? That leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, you lost.
You won World Series.
Right.
I mean, and you think being on the Yankees that you're going to get back there again and again and again. And unfortunately, that was my only series.
Right.
And boy, you think of... I go back over that series. That's what, 34 years ago.
Right.
It's like it was yesterday. I remember every play. I remember we had to have Bobby Mercer pinch hit bunt.
Yeah.
Which was so stupid. Let the pitcher bunt.
Right. Well, that would have been Bobby's. That would have been Bobby's only ring because he was traded around the championships.
Right. And we had that series in our hands, and we got nobody to blame. George George said he apologized to everybody, but
Right.
we as a team just didn't come through when we needed to. We gave them that little opening, the Dodgers. Nettles always used to say, the way you beat the Dodgers, you keep them from hugging.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I miss those politically incorrect days of guys like you. Greg Nettles was so funny, had a great sense of humor, and a clutch. You guys were up 2-0 in that series, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, we were up 2-0. We had Fernando on the ropes. I had hit a 2-run homer.
Right.
Bob Watson had hit a 2-run homer. Matter of fact, I almost hit 2 home runs in that against him.
You homered up the left field line in Dodger Stadium, that small wall.
Remember the ball? The wall that hits the bar.
Right. That's right.
There's no way you could hit that bar in a million chances.
You and Willie Randolph.
Comes back.
And Willie Randolph hit the same exact home run. It was like the same area, right? Yeah.
Well, actually, Bob Watson hit a home run that game against Fernando.
I thought Willie had one in that series. I think Willie Randolph
Willie had a couple in that World Series. He had a great series.
Yeah, so and then the last game 6 back at the stadium, I just remember Tommy Lasorda talk about Ponzones running out. That was I think you lost 9-2 in game 6. That was a rough one.
But we took Tommy John out of that game with a 1-0. We were only losing 1-0.
Well, how does Dick Hauser do that, Rick? What happened?
Dick. If it was Dick Hauser, we would have won the series 4 straight.
Yeah,
Bob Lemon.
Bob Lemon. Lemon was coaching. That's right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Bob lost his son.
That's right.
Before the World Series, he was not. And I love Bob Lemon because he was such an easygoing guy, but he wasn't into the.
They brought Lemon back for that '78 magic to happen again. But that might have been the worst decision, the most hasty, worst decision Steinbrenner ever made. Firing Hauser after winning, I think, 103 games in 1980.
103 games. Yeah, he actually admitted that that was the worst thing he ever did.
Worst
Dick
decision.
was such a great guy.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, good coach. He let everybody play.
Right.
He took. Who I was very surprised. You brought up Bobby Mercer and Lou Piniella. Those were the 2 guys that gave Hauser the most grief. And they used to be like best buddies.
Yeah, Piniella was an angry guy. I remember Piniella losing his shit a couple of times. Yeah.
He was tough.
Right.
You could do a whole book on Piniella's stories.
Right.
But Bobby and Lou, because they were kind of like a little bit older, veteran guys, they each wanted to play every day, and there wasn't. We didn't have the room. I mean, it was just one after another. Whoever we put out in the outfield became a star. I mean, left field that year, I remember the 45 home runs and 150 RBIs.
Wow.
Whoever played, it was Joe LaFay, it was Bobby Brown, Oscar Gamble.
LaFay had a great lefty. Yeah.
Everybody that went out there, Mercer, Piniella, whoever was in left field for the 162 games, they wind up hitting over 300 with 45 home runs and 165 RBIs. It was like crazy numbers.
That 1980 team, that was the team. It was better than the 81 team because you got, I think, a better manager, even though I love Lemon. I think you got a better manager. You had your best year. That 80 Yankees team was extraordinary, man.
That 80, and we had the strike in 81.
The 81 was weird.
I'll tell you a secret. If the Yankees and the Dodgers weren't leading when it went on strike, they would have never had a half season.
Well, the Reds had the best record in baseball and didn't make the playoffs or something, right? It was weird.
Well, wait a minute. If it was Milwaukee and St. Louis, they would have said, just continue right where we left off. But it happened to be the Dodgers and the Yankees leading when the strike went down.
Right.
They said, they came up with this great idea. We'll break the season into 2 parts.
Nice. So you were in. You knew you were in the whole second season, the whole second part of the season.
You really had nothing to play for.
That's a very. You're right. I forgot about that. That's an odd decision. I ask everybody from your generation, Rick, the steroid issue that's tainted this whole generation. Are you a guy? Do you put Clemens and A-Rod in the Hall of Fame if you're, in your opinion, with an asterisk or not, or just say, look, it was the steroid era and they played the best, or do you not? What do you think?
I played with Roger myself 2 years. I never watched a human being work out harder than Roger.
Right.
He's one of my dear friends. I want 10 of him on my team.
Sure.
I don't know what you do, and they've opened up a can of worms that they can't close. And they wanted to clean up the game, but you know what? I mean, everybody is tainted. I mean, what do you do? Not allow anybody to get in the Hall of Fame from that era?
Right, that's the problem, right?
So you got to
exactly.
be, and unfortunately, Roger fought the whole thing.
Right.
And won.
Right.
I mean, he went to court. He fought it. He was proven innocent.
No, I know.
And yet they still won't let him in. And you know what? Nobody's an angel.
Sure.
Let's just say that. And I'll tell you what, when we go to the doctor today, the first thing they subscribe to you, whatever you have, is they'll give you some form of steroid to help.
Right.
So it is some kind of a miracle drug that works.
It helps.
It definitely helps. I just wish, you know what, I love Roger. A-Rod I'm not too friendly with.
Yeah, nobody
I don't
is.
know him that
It
well.
doesn't seem like anybody's friendly with him.
But they, I mean, you look at a Derek Jeter, played during the same era. His whole body changed just like everybody else.
Right.
Nobody would ever say Derek took that.
Right. No, I know. It's so. I mean, what are you saying? Do you think Derek did take it, or
No, I don't. To be honest with you, there are supplements that every player seems to be taking now.
Right.
And when I mean good supplements, they more protein, more of this, the shakes. These guys are so rich; they got their own maids.
Well, that's
and
the other
cooks.
part. That's the other
They
part.
got cooks. Yeah, they cook so much better. The whole society is bigger and stronger.
They're traveling corporations. I mean, you bring up a good point. The difference now. How do you think you would have handled this day and age, Rick, with Twitter and stuff? You talk about women.
It's a lot different.
Could you? What would have been written in the gossip columns about you if they were on you like they are today?
Well, you know what? We had a thing. We used to go out with the reporters.
Right.
There would be two guys follow the Yankees. You'd have a drink with them in the bar afterwards. You'd talk baseball. It was almost kind of like whatever went on, and sometimes I just looked the other way. Today, there's so much media.
Right.
So many people looking for a story. So, I mean, and 24-hour sports. I mean, they're paying, $500,000 for a picture.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy society we live in. And the other things, I don't know if these guys are really enjoying playing baseball anymore.
Well, it's about them. It's not about baseball. It's about their lives and their right. Yeah, you're right.
We had a lot of fun playing. We enjoyed ourselves. We played hard. We came to the ballpark. Yeah, you might have had a little hangover once in a while, but you played hard.
Sure.
You got up and you played hard.
And all you had to do was, I talk about media, you just had to outsmart Moss Klein at the Star Ledger.
Moss was great.
Yeah.
Moss was great.
I mean, listen, I'm starting to sound like an old fart, like my uncles used to be. If I wanted to piss off my Uncle Sonny from North 7th Street, I'd say Dave Winfield's better than Joe DiMaggio. He'd smack me in the face. I would do it on purpose. But no,
I got one other thing for you.
Yeah.
Now, Yogi's one of my dear friends.
Sure.
Love him. But Yogi couldn't play today.
I don't think so. You're right. I mean, you have to say, yeah.
He wouldn't even be drafted.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, name a 5'8" catcher in the big leagues right now.
Well, how about Phil Rizzuto? Phil Rizzuto, I think, was living in Brooklyn.
Would never be drafted.
I love that. I mean, he went to tryouts, and they just, in right field, and they took him, right?
Well, yeah, and they're going to sign Scooter, who's today. I mean, today you have to have a prototypical body for a pitcher.
Right.
6'4".
They don't even look at you.
15 pounds.
Right.
And they all throw 95 miles an hour. I would have loved to be playing now.
I had a question. Can you even, is there any way to try out if you're not in,
I don't think they don't even have tryouts anymore, right?
Yeah. You would have to be so much better.
Yeah.
Than the 6'5" guy,
right?
That they wouldn't even look; they would overlook you.
It'd have to be almost magical, right? Exactly.
Yeah, you'd have to be like a Pedrosian, but you know what? Today he doesn't get drafted.
I agree with you. I mean, even guys from listen, and again, I'm sounding old like my uncles did. I'm 40. I'm 47 now, but I have such nostalgia from the days of Thurman and you and Nettles and. And Mickey Rivers and Piniella and Willie Randolph was my favorite. And but you guys seem to have more fun playing with more passion, but you're looking at guys that don't even look human. They're super beings.
It's a bigger society. I mean, our whole society is big.
Right.
And they, if you don't throw 90-something miles an hour, they're not even going to look at you. And there's a lot of guys out there that can pitch.
Right.
It still comes down to pitching and changing speeds, location, movement. I mean, it's great to have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that you can count on. but you still got to learn how to pitch. You
Well,
gotta
Mickey Mantle was nice enough to say, and I think even DiMaggio might have said this, he never would have had the stats he had with a slider because he never played with a slider. Fuck a slider. How about a cutter? How about like Mariano Rivera's cutter?
Well, that's a freak of nature.
Right.
Mariano Rivera, I'm telling you, out of all the guys that I watched since I've been retired, the one person, I respect a lot of people in the game. And I'm up in the broadcast booth, and when Mariano comes up in '96, and one of my dear friends is Paul Molitor.
Love Molitor.
And who's one of the best fastball hitters you've ever seen.
One of the best flat-out hitters, yeah, right.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, Mariano comes into the game, Paul swings through 3, 4, 5 fastballs. And I go down to him the next day. I said, Paulie, come here. What's going on here?
Yeah.
He said, Rick, it's the damnedest thing. I thought I hit those balls. He said, stuff is moving all around.
It's all about the movement. Yeah, is Rivera the best? Is Rivera the best pitcher you ever saw? And if not, who is?
Well, to me, Rivera is the best pitcher I've ever seen.
Right.
He made it look very easy with one pitch. I mean, he had a fastball that threw about 95, 96 miles an hour. But and like Molitor said, it just cut. And you think, and it actually, he said it picked up speed.
Right.
Which I find
that's
hard
unreal.
To believe. But Molitor, I respect an awful lot. And to me, another freak was Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
He had the best fastball, best curveball in our era. And he didn't want to get you out. He wanted to strike you out.
Right.
And if you look it up, Artie, you can look it up. I hit over 450 against them like that.
I'm going to go on your word as a fellow Paisan.
With some damage, too. I hit some home runs against Nolan.
Well, I forget, Rick. You actually talked about Clemens. You were on the '86 Red Sox, were you not? You were, right?
No, 88.
Oh, 88. Okay. So you played with him. And
I
that was
played with Roger.
Pre-steroids.
Yeah, I mean, he worked out hard, though. You remember this thing called the VersaClimber?
I know of it. No,
Yes.
I remember you were a Nautilus. You were a big Nautilus guy.
No, I was a guy who used to have a cigarette and a little vodka and sit on the treadmill.
Well, that's what we read in the paper. We read in the paper you were a Nautilus guy. Morse Klein was nice enough to you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Morse. Yeah, I used to work out at the Nautilus place up by Steve Hall, but that was when I was young and naive.
Right.
But we would get on this VersaClimber for 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm saying to myself,
wow,
all I could do was like 5 minutes, and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I never saw a human being work out harder than him.
Well, you talk about athletes, like even Thurman Munson, he had a bit of a beer gut. I saw an old picture of in 1980 of Steve Yeager and Tommy John on the beach, like in Hawaii during the. They look like two plumbers.
Mario Luigi.
Yeah, but they couldn't play today.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I have so much more respect for the guy who could have fun and do that and hit a clutch double with runners on second and third. You know, it's like
and then go in the dugout and have a cigarette.
Well, I'll never forget. In 1976, I was 8 years old. My uncles took me to see when they wanted me to see Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron's last year, he announced his retirement, playing for the Milwaukee Brewers in the American League, and they took me to Yankee Stadium, and I saw Aaron smoke a cigarette. He snuck a cigarette the way Johnny Carson did coming back from commercial.
Exactly.
And
a lot of guys did, and now nobody does.
And I don't want to blame Hank Aaron, but I was 8 years old. The next day, I bought my first pack of cigarettes. I want to be like Hank Aaron.
It sounds like you guys have a lot of fun with what you're doing.
We do.
You know what? You got to have fun.
Yeah.
My father worked in the post office. He worked 37 years in the post office. He said he hated every minute of it. And he told me one thing. He said, just do something you enjoy doing.
Well, listen, Rick. I mean, my God.
I was lucky. I got to play baseball 18 years in the big leagues. I've had a lot of fun. I've made I've made money after baseball. You know, that's the one thing people forget, that when I lasted till 39 years old, which sounds old.
Huge.
That's a young guy in the business world.
Of course. I mean, you're not even getting started in the business world. And I mean, you're a kid from Clifton Avenue who played for the Yankees, dude. Case closed right there. I mean, come on. Father was a postman, and you made him proud, and
yeah. I made him proud. And my mom, I lost her this year. She was 97.
Oh wow, what a life!
Tremendous.
What a life!
Oh my God, what a life she had. I'm telling you.
Well,
she dressed like the queen every day.
Yeah. That's my mom. But I'm being honest with you, Rick, so exciting to meet you, and I'm so happy you came on the podcast to reminisce a little bit. Is there anything you want to plug at all, business-wise?
No. We, like I said, I'm still involved in some things. I'm what they call a consultant now.
Right.
And that's a tremendous job.
Good gig.
You kind of help people out. You bring them together. I've always been able to talk to people. The one thing I miss is I gave up broadcasting to build the Newark Bears. And,
right.
I did. I built that, and we started that whole league. Unfortunately, since I've sold the Bears in 2003, they've been bankrupt a couple of times, and now they're actually closed down. And that's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad.
What a great stadium. Listen, I had a few jabronis over at Bear Stadium, and I'll tell you what, I threw out, when I was on the Howard Stern show, I threw out the first pitch the last year you were the owner in one of the games. And I took.
No, I know you did. I know you did.
Took batting practice.
I missed that, and the one thing I regret, I haven't made too many mistakes in my life. The one regret I made was leaving the Yankee broadcast booth in 1998 and taking a job with the Baltimore Orioles. That was I should have never left the Yankee broadcast booth. I had the perfect gig. I was in 50 games.
And you were great at it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And unfortunately now I guess they consider I'm too old to be broadcasting. But
It's ridiculous.
all I know is I had a lot of fun up there.
That's so ridiculous. They're too old. I mean, that's the guys you want to talk to, the guys who know what they're talking about. And
have fun doing it.
Yeah.
It was a game. And
Yeah.
have fun. These guys are too serious up there
It's
now.
too politically correct, too angled out. I agree with you. But I think the second mistake a lot of people in your life are going to tell you is doing the Artie Lang podcast. So
Now, this is a lot easier than I thought. It's just that you dropped a couple of F-bombs.
Well, that's why it's a podcast. It's great. You didn't say it, I did, so we'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys. And feel free to call me when you want to talk.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back on, Rick. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much. Best of luck to you in the future, brother.
All right. Thanks a lot. Be good.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
That's the great Rick Cerrone. Little education for you, Chris. You're a young kid.
I just sat back and listened. He's cool as a
Rick Cerrone,
motherfucker.
yeah. Well, I mean, listen, again, he's talking about these guys there's no American, it feels like there's no Americans playing baseball anymore. You want, and look, the best should rise to the top. But how long before it's really just it's all Asians and Dominicans? And there's nothing wrong with that. But
with us opening the doors to Cuba, there's going to be a lot of Cubans now.
And it should be. The best should play.
All the Haitians are getting kicked out of the Dominican Republic.
And a lot of American black guys don't play baseball anymore. It was a great combination in the 70s, 80s of American, like white and black guys. They would make those fun teams that were very relatable if you grew up in America. Now, football still has that camaraderie.
Football and
Yeah,
basketball.
it does. Basketball, not as much.
No, well, not the
with the
camaraderie,
white
but the
guys.
money, but the money, yeah.
But I'm saying interracially, football does still have that.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. The one thing that kind of helped me as I got over high school, because I didn't grow up around any white people like that. I knew a couple here and there, but
I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, this was this. But like I told you, I had a homie. His name was Joe Kim Pagna. He was a D lineman.
Right.
Me and him were cool as fuck, and my quarterback was white. And I was the center.
Well, I mean,
but
that's
me and
where
him hung out though.
That's where races, I really think, in the early days before stuff got really a little more sophisticated in the world. Sports is where races came together.
Yeah.
That was the big equalizer that helped race relations. I think more than anything.
It's sad, but all the Italians, I was cool with all the Italians on my team.
Yeah.
Even the older guys who left before me, they loved me. But that's how literally you go from starting off in 9th, 10th grade, whatever. Whenever you start playing sports, I don't trust them. By the end of it, you're like, whoa, they're a lot better than these people. Because you realize they just play sports and they got families and you.
If someone called Willie Mays the N-word in front of my grandfather, there was going to be a fight. I mean, that's it.
The other guy, you can call him whatever you want, but this black guy.
Well, listen, you don't want to. No one's perfect. But anyway, Rick Cerrone, great man, and maybe we'll have him on again. But it's funny, they all get afraid of the F-bomb. I'm ashamed. I hope people don't get offended, but I forget people work in the real media. Great interview, and I'm glad Rick came on. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the official tape of Dan and I making this bet, and we'll talk more about the capture of the guys and the fact that Dan lost the bet. After that. He's up against computerized systems. You ever see those fences at the top? Dan, you're talking out of your ass.
No, I'm not
You're
talking
making
out
it
of
sound like it's easy to get the fuck out of it.
Okay. My dad can't read a computer. He doesn't.
I've had it with, not just jail, rehabs and blah, blah, blah. When someone tells you, you can't go over there anymore. You see that 30 feet away where everybody else is going? But God hope can fuck you up, man. It can fuck you up. Only one where people made it to the water. 15th at 11:30 and you see them. You better do your civic duty. You better. $500. A lottery win, what I've had. Think of it. When you think about winners and losers in this business, where do I fall on that list? I'm way down when you're going to make a list of winners. And still. Who's on?
Mario Cantone.
Tomorrow? Yeah. Ooh, that's a good
fun.
get, man. Good for you.
That'll be great.
He's been married a while.
I think he's gay. I don't know.
Back on Artie Quitter, Artie Lang Uncensored Podcast. The beginning of the show, we were goofing on the whole, the guy whose wife helped the guys break out of prison by supposedly fucking them and baking a drill bit into a hamburger and goofing on his voice. He sounds a little naive. Like, listen, honey, they said they tried to give this man pills. She said, no, I'm not hurting my husband. I love him too much. I love that husband. And
Ali.
Matt Lauer.
Ali. His name is Ali.
Of course. Anyway, we were goofing on that. But a big get tomorrow. Then Rick Cerrone, great interview. With the Supreme Court, and a narrow margin, by the way, with the gay marriage thing. You read some of those dissension ones. Those guys are still living in the ancient world with some of the religious stuff, but it was a 5-4 victory, a barn burner. It was not a blowout by any means. Even Roe versus Wade, the abortion thing for you young cats in 72 or 73, that was 7-2. This was 5-4, man. This was right down to the wire. But same sex allowed in every state.
What?
Same-sex marriage. And Mario Cantone, one of my good friends and one of the funniest comics on the planet, an admitted homosexual.
I can't believe that. I've seen his act. There's no...
He
might be a little gay.
He is an admitted homosexual. Now, Mario, good friend, friend of my family's, good friend of my sister's. Been married to a long time. To a guy, and one of the funniest, most talented guys, one of my favorite people, and he'll be talking about all that tomorrow, so it's a good get. He's been famous a while in the comedy world, but got more fame, of course, from being on Sex and the City, which he stole every episode he was in. Hilarious. Sarah Jessica Parker wasn't even on the screen when Mario was there, as far as I'm concerned. But that's a good get. Love Mario, and so we'll be talking about that and anything else. 5-4. I want to talk to Mario seriously. That is about how narrow that margin was. People still don't want to understand it. People are born gay. You're born that way, man. They got to have the same rights as any human being who breathes air. You're born gay. And no one should understand that more than a straight guy. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. This is the good part about living in Hoboken. Look at that. Look to the right. We're looking at a cruise ship pass by my apartment.
There's so many ships out there.
Look at that.
There's so many things going on.
In the Hudson River, I've lived here now 14 years. The Hudson River is a very busy thoroughfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the summer. But there's water taxis, ferries, barges, tugboats, and a lot.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Fishing, commercial, private, whatever. People just having a good time on sailboats. There's people who jet ski now. People who kayak. I don't get it. You get some of the Hudson River water in your eye, you might have pink eye for the next 35 years.
That's how Ray Charles happened. He got lots of water.
Poor guy. Dan, like a typical broad, is taking a picture of the cruise ship. I told her.
Tweet it.
I'm sorry. Well, who cares? Carnival Splendor. The cruise ship. Now, I always tell every chick gets so impressed by the cruise ship. I tell every realtor, if I'm trying to sell this place, get the fucking schedule for when the cruise ships are coming in or going out. Yeah. Every chick fucking gets wet in the panties. Look at that cruise ship. They'll pay fucking $4 million for this shithole. Look at the Queen Mary 2, man. The Queen Mary Deuce. When that passes by, it's a floating city. Blocks out the fucking skyline.
Jesus Christ.
Blocks out the skyline. Chris, your thoughts?
I can't swim.
Okay. That was my first guess. What happened to your pinky? You in a splint.
Just noticed. I literally woke up one day.
Taking the rubber off?
On Friday, I woke up and it was swollen. And I went to the doctor. They was like, Do you have any old injuries? So, yeah.
What happened?
Like when I was in high school playing football, I like dislocated.
Really?
And never healed correctly, so now just woke up swollen.
Oh, okay. Be careful. You don't want to get some sort of staph infection.
I don't know. I went in there.
And bring it into, I don't know, your podcast friend's home. All right, well, get well. Okay. The reason we talked about the prison escape, first of all, it's topical, and we're nothing if not topical on this show. Breaking news is our motto as comics.
That's
right. Mara Cantona's on. We had Mark Maron. Everything's topical. But Dan and I, a few weeks ago, were talking about the prison break, and we made a bet. I bet that they would both be captured by, was it June 30th? Did you hear the date, Dan?
I think you said June 30th.
Well, did you listen to the replay? You didn't get to that part?
No, I didn't go back.
Okay. Well,
We said a month.
Key part.
Today is the 29th.
Right.
You were so close.
I think it was June 30th, which really makes it sweeter. But maybe it was July 15th. I don't know. Because I think we started on June 15th is when we did. Well, let's
did 2
do
weeks
the
ago.
fucking math. What episode is it? We don't even know.
It was
This is episode 97.
right.
This is episode 97?
It is, yeah. We're closing in on 100, man.
What are we
getting
doing
a
for
cake.
the 100?
It was June
Get a
16th.
cake.
Get a cake.
We're going to get Cookie Puss from Carvel.
Ooh, that sounds
It's June 16th. I got Carvel ice
June
cream sandwiches
16th
in
we
there.
did it?
Yeah.
We did?
Yeah.
All right, so I think
We thought we were going to be in Montreal.
I think we said a month. Well, we're going to be in Montreal.
Right.
By the way.
That was when I was going to win the bet.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a month. You win the bet. You lost the bet already. All right, so let's go back to
They
some of that.
stole a car.
Let's go back to some of that tape where Dan is so on his pompous high horse. And I, as a logical thinking person, sit back and give you the reason why they're not going to fucking get out. Unless you're a made member of the Lucchese family with those resources, and these guys were not. They were red double necks. Okay?
You have to be in a mafia or cartel.
Thank you,
or
Chris.
Some sort to get away.
Or you have to have Jay-Z.
Yeah.
If he wasn't a rapper, still on the other side. All right, let's hear some of this. This is from June 16th.
That's a tough life.
Yeah, that's a tough fucking life. And what I'm saying to Dan is I admire his romance. I admire his father putting together the sink.
I'm talking about outside the prison. I bet you I can
Stop
it
it
right
You made
there.
that clear. You're trying to make yourself look good.
We forgot about the
sink analogy. You should have went back to that crazy thing.
Well, you never let me tell the sink analogy.
But no, listen. Dan claimed. All right, I'll tell the story. If you want my version of it instead of yours. Dan claimed him and his father could break out of prison because they put a sink together.
No, that's not what I said.
Yes, you said.
No, that's not what I said.
You said they put a sink together.
No.
Was it
What
a
did you
sink
say,
or a
Dan?
zinc?
I
What
said
did you say, Dan?
that he was ingenious.
'Cause no matter
in that
what
way,
you
he
say-
could have figured out a way to get out of that prison.
Dan,
if he knew,
You put a sink together in your basement in Chicago
No.
where no one was watching you.
There were 100
So he could have, on top of
You didn't
not
even let
putting
me-
a sink, you think you put a sink together with every guard on the planet watching you?
you didn't even let me finish the
Okay,
story.
because it's ridiculous. I'm doing you a favor by not letting you finish the story because it's going to sound more retarded.
It is not.
I want to
Finish
hear
the
the story
story.
so I can laugh.
You, really, Chris, get ready for this. Go ahead.
We had this really expensive sink at my house.
Oh, my God.
And it
You're
was
a rich kid.
It was it was European, and
So he's gayer by the second.
and had the spritzer and the sprayer and the full shower.
Like an industrial sink from.
Yeah, it was-
I used to
right.
wash pots because
Right.
I wasn't a rich
Exactly.
kid like you.
Exactly. And it broke. And my dad took it apart. And when he took it apart, he put it back together and he said, and I printed out on the internet from the company.
Internet? What year was this?
This was, I don't know, 2005, 2006.
Okay, this is why you could break out of prison.
I printed from the internet.
Okay, now first of all, where are you going to
schematics.
get the internet in the prison? Where are you just going to get who's going to do that for you?
Well, you get the chick that's blowing you.
Okay.
Okay.
How
So
did they
you've talked
get?
to chicken to blowing you already.
How did they get out? How did they get out of the
Keep
prison
going,
now?
Dan. Keep going. 'Cause with every breath that comes out of your mouth,
There's
you
some
argue
holes.
my point.
There's some holes, but I want to hear the
okay,
end.
yeah.
I want to
So-
hear the end.
You looked up on the internet how to put together a sink, and you
said
put
the
together
schematic,
the
and
sink.
I said to him, and he said, these schematics are wrong. This washer is reversed. I go, yeah, right, whatever.
Lunchtime.
So
Every prisoner back in their cell. All right, Dad. Let's put these back where we find a hiding place, and we'll put together the sink tomorrow. Okay.
so they sent the new one. The company sent the new one because
Prisoner Sir, why do you have a sink in your cell?
Lifetime guarantee. There was a lifetime guarantee. They sent the new one.
Better have, because you're going to be in jail for life.
And I emailed the guy. I said, hey, in this, my
Where
dad
you
said.
gonna email
There's a lot of technology. in this.
We're not talking about.
Yes, we are. You're trying to get out of prison.
Is
the skank also going to email?
I was saying between him
with the skank, you're getting a lot of fucking. She's getting a lot of fucking jobs in this plan.
She have a lot to do.
She has a lot of responsibilities.
I was saying that between
you're the skank, honey.
Between my ability to disappear
To do what?
outside the walls of the prison.
Disappear?
That's right.
He's like,
We could be in Costa Rica in 5 days.
Dan, you wouldn't have gotten to the turnpike.
Yeah, whatever.
you're like the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark when he gets lost. He'll disappear. He'll blend in. He knows not.
Whatever.
Does anybody know how to get to Turkey?
Dan, yeah, exactly.
They hung out at the warden's cabin for a couple of days. They should have been on the run, baby.
Okay, go ahead, Dan. Play the tape.
They should have been on the run.
It's unbelievable. Play
They
the
should
tape.
have taken off.
He's still arguing. They're both caught. One's dead, one's in prison. There's dogs. There's people
Yeah, and
whose job it is to find.
And 78 out of 80 bombs got through the TSA in the last
What
month.
does that mean? You're not a bomb, Dan.
Well, okay, we'll see.
You're not a bomb. You're a human being.
We'll see.
Okay, you want to bet? Let's go with the odds, buddy. They're out. These two are out. And clearly, they're above average intelligence, these two. They're still at loose. They've had a 2-week head start. They're over the walls. The hard part's over.
Mm-hmm.
According to you, odds are they'll make it. I'll bet you right now. $5,000. They get caught.
Well, that's because there's 1,000 guys running.
What the fuck am I talking about, Dan? What are we talking about? If you broke out, 1,000 guys will be looking for you,
It's been
too.
2 weeks.
Dan, so you want to make the bet? I bet they get caught.
If they're as smart as me,
Or they die somehow. Or they get caught.
I think they should go South America.
How's that going to happen? Just go to the airport, get on a plane?
No.
How?
You can drive down
Buy
there.
a boat, drive right down to South America. Sure, that's a nice one. Damn. All right, let's bet. Let's make it $500. $500.
$500 on what?
That I say they get caught. You're Mr. Okay, the hard part is over. Clearly, they're some kind of genius. They got through this system. They got out. They fucked the skank. They got through with the drills. They're out for 2 weeks, a big head start, and clearly have some resources.
What if they're
According
separate?
to your theory,
I say $50 a piece. $50 a piece.
Whatever you want.
And you have to give me, and I want a time, like a month, that they're not caught in the next month.
I say, okay, fuck $50 a piece. One of them is caught within a month, $200.
No, because there might be.
Both are caught in a month, $200.
And if one is caught, I don't have to pay you $200?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say both are shake on it.
All right.
I bet both of these guys are caught within a month. What's the date? June 16th? Mm-hmm. By July the 16th, both of these guys are caught. $200.
What if they're caught in Montreal when we're there?
Didn't even come close. That's good. I'll have some extra.
Artie Lang.
I'll have some extra.
I got news for you.
I'll have some extra money from Molson. Don't let me catch you helping them either. So if it's July 15th at 11:30 and you see them, you better do your civic duty. You better.
Hey, I'm not a Canadian. I don't bow to a queen.
You better turn them in. You're helping your country.
Jesus Christ.
It didn't even come close. If they end up shooting themselves on the head, I win, by the way. 2 weeks.
That's not getting caught.
But that's
What
not
if
getting
one of them
away.
hated the
That's
other
not
one?
Getting
What if-
away.
yeah.
Well, Dan, now you're seeing what you're pointing out is life. You're pointing out the 2 billion things that could go wrong. You're pointing out
not
one of
getting
the trillion things that could go wrong. They hate each other.
Having
They
your
shoot each
partner
other.
drive
They kill
you
each other.
crazy.
Yeah. What's going on right now?
Partner. They should have got married. That would've-
All right, they get caught.
Now they can.
We'll leave it at that.
All right, 1 month.
Wouldn't that have been great? They were just waiting out the same sex thing and they got married and then they turned themselves.
Yes. We did it. Yes. We can get married now.
Wait, you're not getting off so easy. By the way, this show's very funny. Listening to it. Well, keep playing. You're not getting off that easy, Dan.
I'm on law enforcement.
Who would have thought that I would have taken the other side and you would have taken?
I can't wait. I can't wait to say. I can't wait to be the big man and go. Keep your money. I made a point.
Is he going to
You
keep
know,
his money?
it'll be my luck they get caught in a strip club in like southern New Jersey or something.
2 headless bodies found at 2 topless bars. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Another crime, a guy who should be fucking trying to escape from prison, Tom Brady, dances like a 5-year-old. All right, well, clearly, okay, there's the bet. And, okay, it would have been funnier if it was June 30th, but it makes my point even more. I didn't need the month. 2 fucking weeks from that conversation, both are gone.
Done.
And you know what? Keep your money. I made my point.
No, I'm paying you the money.
You know what's funny? Everybody has these things. If I got out,
everybody's got that.
I'm first. I'm gonna get here. Then I'm gonna get a car.
You got to go back to the sync thing. We got to play your father on the sync.
We never got to tell the sync thing because Paul Morrissey came in.
Yeah, but still, you told a little bit of it.
Okay,
right?
the sync thing. I'm being
Well, what is the sync thing? There's
problem.
more to it.
I know. I said
Your father
with
built the
mine-
sync.
with mine.
Dan, I'm getting a
The
new
company
sync.
realized that they had
With your ability to disappear and your father's ability to build a sync.
the schematics and my smarts outside
Smarts!
the jail.
It was a lot of Googling. It was a lot of Googling involved.
I have been around enough.
Your smarts have a skank emailing people.
I've been around enough low-level mob people to know where you can get a fake ID,
stop
where
it.
you can get a car, and where you can drive.
They're
to.
not helping you,
I
Dan.
wish there was a way to bet this, but I'm sure I don't have any of those connections. I promise I can get more shit than you, Dan, in under 24 hours.
Whatever.
Under 24 hours.
Is that because all you people look alike? You wouldn't be able
Even
to
if that, I could take an ID from some other
Yeah.
fat black dude and just make it happen. Yes, I would use
We
that
had people at Trump believing he was a lineman for the fucking Giants.
The tank
He's
is in
right.
the building.
He's right. What are they going to think you are?
No, but I'm saying that shit's hard, man. Because like you said, you got cameras on you. You got a very small margin of error.
You're right.
Very
That's a
small
good point.
margin
There
of
are
error.
white guys who are guards and cops who are huge football fans who probably would think they'd fall for you being a lineman for the Buccaneers or any other team in 2 seconds.
And
That's racism.
to get out of a jail system, the facilities.
That's not the hard part.
facilities.
Osama bin Laden hit for what? How 5 years?
He had
Oh, there's a guy with no fucking. He's got $2 trillion.
He had
He's got entire countries backing him.
You didn't know if I had robbed a bank or something to get in jail. Maybe I would have the money hidden.
If you're in jail, it's for
Dan,
something creepy.
nothing.
Dan's locked
It's
up.
because your dick was stuck to something.
That subway train had it coming. What are you
Hopefully the
talking
thing's not breathing, whatever it is.
Dude, yeah, I don't know.
I know, Dan. You would have been caught.
I'm telling you, what
you
you
would have been
wanna
caught
do-
before them.
No.
If you don't have any money, you don't have any means, you don't have anything, you get like, at least I grew up in a shitty neighborhood, so I can get back to any shitty
You
neighborhood.
go back there.
I know
Problem
who
is,
to rob.
other criminals selling you.
But the thing is, the other criminals, if you rob the other criminals, they can't talk.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
fact
but
about
but
robbing
They might
criminals.
have a deal with the cops, or they go to the cops and they go, "Hey, listen, that possession charge, you want to make it go away?"
Well, if
I
you
know
steal
where Chris Cotton is.
If you steal a
In my
pre-stolen
basement.
car, then you'll be all right. You steal a couple
You
pre-stolen
need the
cars.
resources to be on a beach in not Costa Rica, Fiji, far away, to with that has no extradition deals with us. And that's
The key is getting a passport. If you know it, if you can get a passport, you can do the rest. The
These
rest
guys
is-
needed
but getting a
doctors. There was
passport is-
blood in one of the places they were staying. They got hurt. One of them
How
at
did they
least
get
had a
hurt?
blister. If you're on one of them got cut running.
Hey, pussy. You tape that motherfucker. You get some duct tape, like Liam Neeson. Just watch a couple Liam Neeson movies.
Yeah, that'll
and do
work.
whatever the fuck he did.
Now watch Schindler's List because you're gonna die in a camp.
Liam Neeson, he'll teach you how to patch yourself
You're gonna
up.
die in a prison camp. Watch Schindler's List.
Watch a Batman. Watch Batman, one of the new
Yeah.
ones. He'll teach you how to patch yourself.
I'm not a good person. I have a blister on my foot. I chopped up my wife. I broke out of prison. But God damn it.
I did not fuck Ollie's wife.
But God damn it, I didn't break it. I didn't fuck this woman's. I didn't fuck this skank. I didn't give her pills to give to her. Damn it, she's in love with her husband. I'm not a good person. Dan, you're still hanging on to this argument.
I can't believe you really think you could have got away.
I mean, if every
Those
change.
two
No to
knuckleheads
what?
were able to do it.
They
No, they weren't.
They weren't that dumb though, man. You'd be surprised. Like we seen that fucking documentary about the solitary confinement people.
Yeah, well,
me and you were dumbfounded about how they were sending kites to each other.
This proves exactly. That's another point. This proves that the hard part isn't getting out. The hard part is the resources and dealing with it when you get out.
Yeah.
Why is this so rare that this happens? Why is there a movie made about it when it happens? Because it's that fucking rare.
And then when you get out, people got to trust that you
Whitey
can give them
Bulger
something
was
later.
out for 20 years.
Yeah, but he didn't break out of prison. He was a fugitive from justice.
You want to be a fugitive. You don't want
And
to
he
go.
was
I
the biggest mafia guy in the history of Boston, Dan.
I
That's equal
But I'm not. That
resources.
works in my advantage. I know how to.
No, it doesn't.
You need resources.
You'd rather be the biggest mafia guy, believe me.
You need resources because when you get out, like you said, getting a job under the table is not the hard part. That's easy. But
you need a
everything
network
else,
of people. You need the underground fucking railroad.
Stay out, or you got to just be really smart, like know how to live in like a fucking.
But you know what? Even really smart,
like
they'll catch up with you eventually.
Yeah, you got to know. You got to be able to go completely
because you'll get
out
desperate. You'll get look at the end of Breaking Bad. The last few episodes. The reason he eluded the law for just a little bit was he had that connection at the end. The guy who got him the ID, and the guy said, "Listen, I'm putting you in a cabin across the country in New Hampshire," and but he had cancer.
Breakout of.
You know, he had cancer, and he couldn't get him his medicine in time. And then, but something made him drive back to Arizona. You start to lose your mind. You get cabin fever, or you need medication.
You get legitimately scared.
Listen, I'm diabetic. But, you know, I need my insulin. If I'm with you, now I'm a hindrance.
Oh, you're getting killed.
Well,
you kill fast.
You're going to eat me.
I got asthma.
Look at my body. I'm a 2-week buffet.
I got Lyle Mitchell.
You got Lyle Mitchell.
What do you have?
She said, then this.
This is the husband.
It went too far. He said, he tried to kiss her a couple of times. She said, no. And she said, then that's when he started threatening her a little bit on things.
Every woman says that, the whore.
One of the other headlines, Lyle, that came out was that your wife, Joyce, had sexual relationship with one or both of these inmates.
Absolutely not.
Did you ask her point blank
Absolutely.
that
She
question?
swore in her son's life, and her son is evident. But I never, ever had sex with him.
See, this is where it's a tough story, as you well know, because it's almost more believable
You're the Jew media.
for her to try to help two guys escape if she's in love with one of them.
Understand?
It's hard to believe if there were not
Anyone's in
an
love with you.
emotional attachment.
She told me that Matt was giving her attention and stuff, and she did not believe that I loved her anymore.
When she keeps bringing up that she didn't believe you loved her anymore, it does sound like a woman who is looking for love elsewhere.
Yes.
And you don't think she found that love with Richard Matt?
No.
He sounds like a guy who spent a lot of time getting close to your wife.
Yes.
Is it your contention and her contention that he manipulated her to the point where she did the things she did?
I believe so.
You went to see her, you mentioned, in jail. Tell me about that meeting. What was it like?
I just asked her how things were. She said it's rough because she'd never been in jail before. And I said, are you treating okay? She said, yes.
I guess so.
Was she emotional?
Yes. Crying bad.
At the time she was
and she
stuck
said,
in
I did
coma.
not mean to do this. She said, but the things happened. And I said, how can you do this? She said, it just got out of hand. I said, then I was scared and I didn't know what to do.
Does she claim that she was forced to do the things she did in terms of supplying them the tools?
She said she never, no, not part of the tools.
The tools?
She did not. As far as everything else, she said when it come down to her hurting me, that's when she said something was wrong.
The plan was for her to be there in your car?
I was supposed to be our Jeep to pick him up.
And at what point did she decide she couldn't go through with that?
She didn't say. She had said when she started having pains, and she said earlier, I realized I messed up, and I loved you, and she said I said I couldn't do it.
But you just said something interesting. You said she realized that she got in too deep and she loved you. It sounds like before that realization, that epiphany, she was ready to move on.
Could be.
Could be
He's
genius.
such a sucker.
Could be you're a genius. That's Matt Lauer outsmarting.
He's a mouth breather too. Could be.
Could be. Yeah. Mouth breather. That's the least of his words. Yeah, that's Matt Lauer outsmarting me. He outsmarted me, Matt Lauer, with his Jew media haze.
Could be. That just made me
Joyce.
mad.
I wonder how he says her name. Joyce.
Listen, my father put a think together.
Whatever.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Liam Neeson's my father. Oh my God! Well, listen, you do feel for the guy. You do feel for the guy.
Such an idiot.
You feel for the guy.
I don't.
It's a shame.
He is
And
so
women
slow.
have. I caught one of my ex-girlfriends kissing a guy in a bathroom once at a club, and she goes, I wasn't doing that. Yes, you weren't. I mean, they lie.
I was looking right at you.
But this poor guy, he's got it. You know, that's the thing. You have to move on. You have to move on. What do you do?
And she involved him. So you don't know now.
Well, it involved him, and also, I mean, also put his life in danger.
Yeah.
Put his life in danger.
I mean, at this point, who can you trust? I mean,
If you can't trust a woman,
you make
who
a
can you
sex
trust?
tape with somebody, who do you trust?
If you can't trust a woman and 2 guys in jail for double murder,
Who do you trust?
I know there's 3 openings at that jail now, but I would, if I'm,
sounds
you
like
know,
she had 2 openings.
At least 3.
if I'm a
At
prospective
least 3.
employee, I would ask about that dental plan because this guy.
There's no dental plan. They had no plan after they got out, and there was no dental plan. They had no plan after they got over the walls, and clearly there's no dental plan.
Mexico. They were going to Mexico.
The best is how everybody
He said it today.
Good plan.
The best is how everyone. And the thing, like,
Did they think Mexico was north?
I've been in multiple, like, since this happened, I've been in multiple conversations. Everybody thinks it's so easy to disappear. Like, everybody thinks it's so easy to disappear.
Because you can put together a sink.
You get a flip phone, right? They always start off with the dumbest shit. You get a flip
Buy a
phone.
phone.
Listen, man, here's what you do. All right?
You go to Cricket.
Here's
right?
what you do. You go to Sleepy's. You get a mattress.
You rent a car under
Right?
someone else's name.
No, I didn't finish yet. When someone's telling you a ridiculous plan, they always say, "Let me finish."
Let me I know what's going to sound.
No, let
up.
me finish.
Let me finish.
You ain't getting it. Okay, here's what you do. You buy a Glock. Where you gonna get? Let me finish.
I know it.
Let me finish. Okay, and then you get a professor to make a special kind of drug. Where you gonna get a professor? Let me finish. All right, let me finish. All right, okay, here's the thing. Now, okay, after you get that professor, he makes you this special drug. Now, you somehow smuggle it into the food of the guards. How you going to do that? Let me finish.
So far, you haven't explained anything.
Let me finish.
This is a very fictitious plan.
Just let me finish. When you get to Canada, you somehow get access to the parliament. How do you do that? Let me finish.
I'm listening to your
Let me
plan.
finish, guys.
Let me finish. There's a lot of holes in this plan.
Every race has it. Italians have it too. Okay, here's what you do, all right? You find a bookie, and what bookie? Let me finish.
Dan,
Yeah.
you sound like I don't know if you heard yourself, but if we have this recording, you can play back you saying,
You're being the let me finish guy.
let me finish. About the sink, there was a lot of let me finish.
He didn't let me finish about this.
But I was listening, Dan. You didn't have a lot of wiggle room. I was looking at where it was going.
I said if my dad and I were in the same cell, like in the name of the Father, he could figure out a way.
How you gonna get in the same cell? Let me finish. You ain't letting me finish, bitch.
All right.
You see, this is where our relationship's fucked up. Because you know I know more than you, our whole friendship, our whole life, and you never let me finish.
Think you should let him finish.
Let me finish, because you jealous that I'm smarter than your ass.
Maybe if you let him finish.
Okay, we get police uniforms with real badges. How? Let me finish.
You got the instigator.
They got MTA worker uniforms.
How are we going to get the empty? Let me finish. I guess you's the one who has the GHD.
So they probably got to be able to use a subway for free. They were in the uniforms.
I got a Metro card.
That's funny.
Let me finish.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That sink with instructions, I think 90% of
That's
the
the
backers
greatest thing
can
ever.
put the sink together.
That's the greatest reason he could have
I
broken.
can
He
do
could have
it.
broken out of
He could
prison
not
because
do
of his father put together.
I will pay you to fly to Chicago to take apart that sink and put it back.
Dan, we're not
I don't wanna
saying
take that
he
thing
can't
apart.
do it. We're just saying that has nothing to do with breaking out of prison.
I just want to, yeah. I don't
But it was very simple the way these guys did it. They weren't, and they're not geniuses.
Dan.
all plans once they come
Smarter
to
than
fruition look simple. Like if you
No one
watch
wants to admit at
Shawshank,
this table. I'm admitting it's smarter than me. Both guys.
Shawshank Redemption, the plan was not complicated. It just had to be executed.
also 1947.
Yeah, but execution is anything. Like any football player tell you that the play is very easy. You
Anyone
just
can draw up the
gotta
fucking play. Don Shula wasn't padding up.
Yeah, it's just doing it. Execution is the motherfucker.
You
man.
need the balls too. That's the other thing. You're gonna actually do it when the time comes.
Yeah.
You're gonna shoot the guard. You gonna subdue him the way Ben Affleck does in the movie The Town?
That I can't
These
do.
guys have a little bit of a history.
Dan, you better find someone who can.
They
dude.
might have chopped up a couple people.
That's the thing. You got to get violent.
I got
you
my
got to go
bio.
to the next level.
I got my buddy Lyle Mitchell.
Oh, Lyle Mitchell.
Could you get violent? I don't think Dan does not have a violent.
Play some more Lyle Mitchell. Play just a little more.
I'm gonna use this to go to
Play
sleep
from the
tonight.
beginning. You can play what he already
I'm
played.
gonna listen to Lyle going to bed tonight.
He should put out an album.
Words with Lyle.
Let me finish. Matt, you ain't letting me finish.
Lyle.
That's when he started threatening her a little bit on things.
One of the other headlines, Lyle, that came out was that your wife Joyce had had a sexual relationship with one or both of these inmates.
Absolutely not.
Did you ask her point blank
Absolutely.
that
She
question?
swore in her son's life and her son, it's evident. But I
Wait,
never,
go back.
ever
Can anyone
had
say
sex with
after he says, tell me the word he says after he says, and her son? He says, and her son.
Does he say and everything?
I don't know. Just find. Can anyone tell me what he says after and her son? Go ahead.
She swore in her son's life and her son, it's evident. But I never, ever had sex with him.
That's the definition.
Okay,
This
go back.
is where it's a tough story. As your wife Joyce had had a sexual relationship with
What
one
does he
or
say
both
after and her son?
of these inmates.
Absolutely not.
Did you ask her point blank
Absolutely.
that
She
question?
swore in her son's life and her son, it's evident. But I never, ever had sex with him.
He made
This
up a
is where
word.
it's a tough story.
That
as
sounds
you
like
well
James
know,
Brown.
Because it's almost more
damn it.
believable
That's
and her son.
for her
Yeah.
to try to help two guys escape
That
if
is
she's
amazing.
in love with one of them.
Hey,
It's
all
hard
right,
to
sir.
believe
Hey, damn it.
if there
This guy's a
were
con
not
artist's dream.
an emotional attachment.
She told me that Matt was giving her attention and stuff, and she did not believe that I loved her anymore.
When she keeps bringing up that she didn't believe you loved her anymore,
Matt Lauer's a piece
that
of shit.
is, it does sound like a woman who is looking
being a
for
motherfucker.
love elsewhere.
Yes.
If you listen to
And
the
you don't
words
think she found that love with Richard Matt?
No.
He sounds like a guy who spent a lot of time
In your wife's pussy.
getting close to your wife.
Yes.
Is it
Yes.
your contention and her contention that he manipulated her to the point where she did the things she did?
I believe so.
You went to see her, you mentioned in jail. Tell
The
me,
lawyer even laughed on that one.
Jesus
I was like, what are you laughing at, sir? Oh, nothing.
I'm just listening to him
It was
talk.
gas. I can't believe this guy's my client. All right, well, we'll stop ragging on him because he's been through enough. But so, what is that chick looking at, prison-wise? What is Joyce Mitchell looking at?
Will she get out?
Is she in still? Did she get released on bond? Did this guy sell
No,
everything
she
he
can't
owns?
get out. She's-
According to you,
I think 10 years.
she can break out.
She hasn't been sentenced yet.
No.
Right.
She's,
Well, is there going to be a trial? Is she just admitting?
no,
it?
she's going to have, there's going to
Big
be a
trial.
trial. Yeah.
If she gets out, do you
And
think
they're
Lau,
trying-
What?
Do you think Lau will come pick her up if she gets out?
She's been convicted.
She can escape.
I'm saving up my money. She's going to have all my money when she gets out. All of my money. Wow, what about the rumors 4 years into her term that she's fucked every guard at the prison? Well, listen, I don't believe that. She swore to me on her son, and her son is...
I just realized I couldn't think of who he sounded like, and now I realize it. Dan Deerdorf.
Listen, you can listen. This is Dan Deerdorf. Listen, Lyle Mitchell. There's no way. They say my wife fucked these two guys. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. You can say, listen, these guys have a good defense, a good offense, but they're very offensive. But my wife swore on her son, and her son is... See, and he's got the Dan Deerdorf mustache and the Dan Deerdorf acne. Oh, God. Good call, Dan. Listen, she swore on her son, and her son is... What'd you say? Her son is... Listen, you get the Dan Deerdorf. I said to her, listen, point blank, I said, did you fuck Matt Lauer? And she said, you can listen. I said, she said, I'm going to give Dan Deerdorf some pills before the NFC Championship game. And I said, no, listen, there's no way. There's no way. The 49er defense, Ronnie Lott hits Mark Bavaro. Mark Bavaro doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where he is. Joyce Mitchell gives me pills. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. This is terrible. This is Joyce Mitchell. I'm Lyle Mitchell. This is my lawyer. And you're the Jew media. This is crazy. All my coaches taught me about this. You're trying to get in my head. You're getting in my head. She swore on her son, and her son is...
Lyle's an idiot.
What the fuck? He sounds like Dan Theodore. He does. Welcome to Monday night. My wife fucked 2 guys who broke out of prison. Listen, that is fucking funny. And they got the same mustache. And you know they Joyce Mitchell's book she wrote in prison. I fucked Dan Theodore. And 2 guys who broke out of prison. Could you imagine? She probably just needed that cock so bad.
Lyle's not doing it. You just
I don't know.
There were reports of 100 times in the closet.
No.
Yeah,
100 times. Listen, 100 times. I don't care what you think. This is Ronnie Lott fucks Mark Barbaro. Mark 100 times in the locker room. Wait, 100 times?
There were reports.
It's more than I had on the Niners Super Bowl. 100 times.
We had sex 100 times. That was the...
Well, that's worth a drill bit in the hamburger. Let me put my drill bit in your hamburger. Your fucking sloppy meat. That is terrible. That poor guy. Think of the agony I've been through. Think of the fucking agony I've been through. I look like Dan Terdorf. I sound like Dan Terdorf. And I'm not a football player or a broadcaster. I'm a guy who works at the prison kitchen. Doesn't he work in the kitchen or something? I think he worked in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ah!
He's a fucking idiot. He's a patsy.
Patsy? They should have been fucking him. He could have put the... Listen, they tried to fuck me and I said no. Give me pills first.
You must drug me.
If you give me pills first, I'll fuck you.
In the facility.
In the facility. Listen, there's no... The Dan Terdorf here, there's no way we're in the facility. Oh, my God.
Oh, poor Lyle.
I do. The whole basis of this podcast is poor Lyle. Because we've all been there with these lying whores. Joyce Mitchell, how dare you? How dare you? All right, we'll wrap it up. We'll get into more some more.
Should we invite Lyle to the show in Montreal? Oh, no, he can't. He might go to prison.
I don't think Lyle's going to
Is he going to go to the joint?
Well,
no, he'll get immunity. Listen, I've been promised immunity. I've been promised. I'm not going to go. Listen, I'm not going to prison. This is offensive.
I think they're going to let Lyle go.
I hope.
Before. And I said, they're treating okay? She said, yes.
Was she emotional?
Yes.
Yes, very emotional.
And she said, I did not mean to do this. She said, but these things happen.
They blinded me with science.
They blinded you with science.
Science.
He's been blinded with science.
Look at the look on his face. Look
That's my favorite part.
Look at this guy. Watch.
It looks like a
Watch.
cat.
How can you do this? She said, it just got out of hand. I said, then I was scared and I didn't know what to do.
Did she claim that she was
with a T.
forced to do the things she did in terms of supplying them the tools?
She said she never, no, not part of the tools.
Do you need some tools? Never with the tools.
As far as everything else, she said when it comes down to her hurting me, that's when she said something was wrong.
But the plan was for her to be there in your car.
Wait, let's see.
It was supposed to be our Jeep to pick him up.
And at what point
I do want a Jeep.
did she decide she couldn't go through with that?
She didn't say. She had said when she started having pains, and she said earlier, I realized I
Maybe she's
messed
pregnant.
up, and I loved you. And she said I had to.
That would be it.
She said I couldn't do it.
But you just said something interesting. You said she realized that
All right,
she got into deep and she loved you.
We heard this. Is she pregnant? Is a chance it's your baby? Can sperm last 8 years in a pussy?
It's Jim Hart's.
It's Jim Hart's a good Cardinal reference. Well, listen, we all feel if we were naming these podcasts like some podcasters do, this one would be called Poor Lyle.
I put it at Lyle.
Yeah, it was
Put it at Lyle.
blinded by science.
By science. She blinded me with science. I love that part of that song.
So listen, tomorrow we'll talk Hulk Hogan. my buddy Bubba and Hulk Hogan apparently made a few sex tapes.
Couple.
The FBI says there's 3 of them. So I don't know. Well, I'm friends with
Several,
both.
if
Friends
you
with
will.
both guys, and I wish them well. But put the camera away, Bubba. Jesus.
Are you friends with Hulk Hogan for real?
I know him through Bubba. Yeah, actually, yeah. Hulk Hogan announced me on stage at a gig I did in Florida once. He's very friendly to me, Hogan. Yeah. And I met him through Bubba. We were at Bubba's wedding together. We hung out. We partied, and he was on Stern all the time.
was
So
a Hulk
I
fan.
know Hulk actually pretty well.
Biggest
Him
fan.
and Bubba, great people. Bubba's ex-wife, I can't vouch for. She seemed a little shady.
A little shady.
She looks like great people to me.
She looks hot, but she blinds you with sun. She's one of those hot chicks that'll blind you with sun. They're all out there. Chris Cotton, your thoughts and your plugs.
Watch out for these dirty bitches. That's all I have to know.
what
At
we need to know.
215, Periscope, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Instagram.
And this is some good news. As you know, I'm doing a warm-up show for my Montreal gigs tomorrow night, Tuesday night, June 30th, at the Stress Factory, New Brunswick, New Jersey. 7:30 show start. And it's pretty much sold out. Maybe there's a ticket or two left. Call. But some podcast fans will be happy to hear this. Chris Cotton will be hosting the show. He'll be up first. He'll do some time and then bring me up. So, Chris, we just figured that out today. So, Chris Cotton and myself, for you Artie.Quitter podcast fans, will be performing tomorrow at the Stress Factory. And I'm going to go up and do a set and get ready for Montreal, which is going to be a fun time. And Danny Filato will be there, too, trying to promote stuff. And you can meet Dan Filato, and he can tell you personally about the sink.
And if
how they put it
there's
together.
a fire in the Stress Factory, I will tell you how to get out.
Any more Stress Factory news? Any more stand-up news? Go to Artie.Quitter.com. Tell your friends the fun we're having over here. The perp defense. They said, give her some pills. She said, absolutely not. This is my husband.
And-
This is my husband, and there's no way I'm hurting my husband. There's no way I had sexual intercourse with these people. The facilities. In the facilities. Because she swore on her son, and her son is... This is what he said. He goes, and her son is... All right? All right, so we'll talk to you tomorrow on the podcast, and tomorrow night, if you want to come to the Stress Factory, come. Email them, do what you got to do, call Stress Factory in New Brunswick. Me and Chris will definitely see you tomorrow with Filato in the background. Till then, take care. Hey, why not brush your hair?
The Artie Lang Uncensored Podcast at Artie.Quitter.com.